Tanto, cosa avete fatto a Solange?
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody, welcome to Late Horror Show, movie discussion night. Yes, with me, Dino, and Ginger. Hey, Ginger, what's going on?
I'm on top.
Yeah, you're on top, and you're
top.
bright. My God, I'm dark and you're bright. Listen here, you're gonna go out and come back in. Anyways, welcome everybody. We got another Giallo film for you guys, and boy, this is another. I think these early 70s ones, Ginger, are just a little bit different than the what we started with, right?
I think is the difference. No, I was going to say sometimes I think that really when we think about Giallo film, we're really thinking in terms of Dario Argento, and anything that's not Dario Argento has a different feel to it.
It does,
because he was the maestro.
Yes. I mean, 100% it does, but I think there's just a different feel to these early.
We didn't say hi to anyone, Dino. Say hello to our guests.
I will, of course. Listen, lady. But yes, what have you done to Solange? And it's strange, but yeah, we're gonna get to this. Hello, everybody. Edward Stewart, what's going on? WWM. Terrence M. Ritchie, CM. What is going on? Mike Brandt. Barrett, not Brandt. What am I talking about? That's Melanie Brandt. She hasn't been in chat in a while. Mike Barrett, Harry Scott, Black Roses, Vicky Alcorn, and Harry Scott, and Marcelo Pili, and Jacob, and everybody's here. What's going on?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I started the stream, and it kind of cut out on me, and I'm like, going, what is going on here? But yeah,
it's always something with you and your fancy little setup over there.
I know. It is what it is. But listen, I'm still having fun watching these, but I am getting a little. I am starting to figure out the ins and outs of the eras and the years that these were made, and you know, this was directed by Massimo Dallamano. Okay, and this dude has done. Boy. He's got another movie. What have you done to
he's got 3, I think.
Yeah, it's like a trilogy, and they all have to do. And again, this is another movie where we're going to be very delicate with what we say on the topics because it delves into some disturbing stuff, and I'm going to be very careful.
And there's a lot of nudity in this movie. A lot.
Listen, early Italian cinema, horror especially, has a lot of nudity in it. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, that's the way things were back then. This is 1971.
I thought it was 72.
72, you're right.
I thought it was 72.
And that was right there at that time. You know, Free Love was starting and all that other stuff. And not that it has anything to do with it, but early Italian horror has a lot of nudity in it. And he did this trilogy of movies, Massimo, the director, with and he also worked on a lot of spaghetti westerns before this.
That's a common theme, I think, with these giallos, that they also worked on the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, well, listen, Italian cinema, what are they known for? Their spaghetti westerns and their giallo films. So, you know, but he worked on a lot of those before he jumped in and directed some movies. And in this trilogy, they all surround a group of younger girls in school with murders.
Even Suspiria.
Well, but that's Dario Argento. But yeah. I'm talking about this director in particular.
Oh, okay.
Does especially with the trilogy, they all have to do with, you know, that same topic. You know, but listen, this also has Solange, who is played by Camille Keaton, who also is, she played in the classic horror film, revenge film, which was lots of people. It's terrible. Yeah, but I Spit on Your Grave.
Was it only I Spit on Your Grave?
Well, she played in a lot of other movies.
Oh, I was going to say, okay.
I mean, kind of know her from that with, when it comes to classic horror.
Okay.
I mean, from this role, which we'll get into, it's totally different. She has no lines in this movie whatsoever, and might as well throw it out there. She don't show up until the last 20 minutes of the film, something like that, I think.
The director told her not to eat and not to get any sun because he wanted her to look pale and thin.
Pale and frail. And frail. This is top 5 Giallo for me. Mike Barrett. What? What? Wait a second. Don't. I'm sorry. I have an Exorcist moment.
I ain't saying nothing.
And a Bill Cosby moment. Listen, Mike Barrett. With all due respect, listen, I love you. But I think we had this problem last week, didn't we, Ginger? I think Mike Barrett, you're either pushing buttons or you just got a different taste in movies.
I think Mike Barrett was looking forward to our review of this movie.
The
other part I don't remember, but I do remember that I think that was him that said he wanted us to do this one.
Yeah.
Specifically, he wanted to know if I was going to be here.
Listen.
Back to the matter at hand. Top 5. Wow.
Top 5. Boy, that, you know what? There's 5 Darios in the 80s that I can just throw right above that. But listen, to each our own, right?
That's right.
I loathe that film. And Marcello Mastroianni. Yes. Okay, anyways. So Mike Barrett, yes. Let's see. The film, yes, it was me. It says Mike Barrett, yeah. The movie, and again, oh God, I'm jumping right into it here. How did I feel about this movie?
We're here to do. Let's do it.
I know. It's this is a 50-50 again for me. Again, I'm
Well, you just went all the way to the end, and you said that I'm the one with the big mouth who spoils everything.
No, I'm not spoiling.
You just give it all away in the first 5 minutes.
I'm not spoiling nothing. Listen, I am telling you how I feel off the bat a little bit, but listen, there's a lot of good in this film. There's that I like, and there's just
can't wait to hear that.
It's an hour and 42 minutes, and this is another one.
I think it's longer than that. I think it's an hour and 46 minutes.
Oh, 4 more minutes added on.
Yeah,
oh, you must have got the European version.
Way too long.
No, the Italian cut. Anyways, no, it was a little. They could have really condensed this film a bit more. It was a lot.
A lot of talking, too much talking.
But the whole Solange thing, again, doesn't show up until the last 20 minutes. Not giving nothing away. I'm just making a point that the title is, what have you done with Solange? And
we don't even hear her name until like midway through the movie.
They do a very good job with beating around the bush for the first hour and 20 minutes, right? That's what they do. I mean, an hour and 20 minutes, and then the last 20 minutes you're hit with,
all the information.
This is what's going on with this movie.
And then it's over. It's just over.
That's Italian films for you. Yeah. It's over. Cut. It's a wrap, everybody.
Yeah, and then roll credits, and you're like, oh, really? Okay. All right.
Evening, everyone. Hey, Justin, what's going on? Phillies are in the. I can care less, to tell you the truth, but well, I know.
Just say congratulations, sir. My goodness.
I know. Listen. I'm a bitter Indians fan, so congratulations to you guys. Everybody in Philly. Phillies, woohoo! Yeah, the big red machine. Oh no, that's
my daughter is still right down there. I'm wondering how it's going to be for her to get home tonight because she's still right down there by the stadiums.
They're celebrating, yeah. No,
oh yes, and if one thing Billy doesn't love, it's celebrating.
Listen, congrats, but anyways, yes, CM. I loathe the film too. Although, you know, if you're a horror fan and you watch that revenge horror stuff, I Spit on Your Grave is a classic, and
Mhm.
you know,
I
she
haven't
gets her
seen the
revenge.
original. I haven't seen the original. I saw the new one.
Oh, you need to see the original. Listen, although they did a very good job with the
Mhm.
remake, you know, it's she gets revenge, man. So don't have listen, have the pity for her, but she gets the revenge on those guys and have no pity on them. But
And
listen,
it was
this
glorious to see.
yes, it
So
was.
back to the matter at hand.
I might push some buttons here, but Suspiria isn't Giallo. Listen, Mike Barrett, go watch our the review we did on Suspiria. Okay, we've talked
Mm-mm.
about that, but it listen, it's Giallo. Suspiria is a Giallo film.
I'm
Um,
wondering, like, are we being put on here? Is this
I
a
know
put
Mike
on? Is
Barrett's.
this some elaborate scheme?
Well, he says pushing some buttons. We can continue. You know, he can continue to talk in the chat, and I'll figure it out eventually. But listen, Suspiria is Giallo. There were many kills. It's a supernatural Giallo. There are tons of elements of Giallo in that film. It's way more than the slasher and the character. Okay. If you know anything about Giallos,
If all you're looking at is the lighting and the coloring and the camera work, it's a solid giallo.
oh, and
But there's more to it than that.
it's about the tension, the kills themselves.
Mhm.
There's just many things that involve a giallo film. Not to mention that it's an early Italian horror
Mhm.
with slash elements of it's a supernatural giallo film. I'll agree with you there. I mean, you know, it's not like the
Would they
classic, you
call it
know,
phantasm or something? They called it phantasmic,
phantasma phantasmagoria.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Uh,
they made their own little he made his own little niche there.
Terrence, please don't say nothing about the film until we get to it. You're already throwing plot
Yeah, we
points
haven't even
that
got to the opening scene yet, my guy.
yeah. I mean, thanks. I know you're having fun. But it's about witches. No kidding, Mike Barrett. But they kill. There's kills in there. And you know,
Thank you, Black
don't
Roses. If you
listen.
had them, you wouldn't love them. Trust me, they're no
Listen,
fun.
watch our review on
Yes.
no worries, Terrence. Thank you. Yeah, we will. Okay, so let's start to get to this. We've
The
got
movie opens.
yes, you go with the opening here. The
The
gym
movie
teacher.
opens on it
Don't
looked like a lake to me, but apparently it's a river. It looked
yeah,
like a lake
River
to me.
Thames. The River Thames, I
Oh,
think
they
it.
were on the Thames? Were they?
Isn't that
Okay.
what they said? I could have sworn they said that. Although the Thames River is in England
Yes,
and
it's in London. That's correct.
yes. But I'm trying to think, does it flow down through Italy? I
Into
don't
like
know.
countryside, I don't know. But they were
Listen, I
clearly in
could
like a wooded area, but I don't know if it runs beside. Anyway,
I know I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. Continue. Yeah, they're in a boat.
they're a young
But
couple and they're laying in
hold
the
on, hold on,
boat.
hold on. I'll let you continue. You can do the whole opening scene, but let's get the characters out of name.
Okay.
Uh the main character in this film is Enrique. I mean Enrico.
Enrico
Enrico Rossini.
Suave.
Yeah, Enrico Rossini, and he's a gym teacher at the girls' college or
And he
school.
looks like Sean Connery's baby brother. He's an Italian Sean Connery.
He's an
He looks
Italian
just like
Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Is he an Italian Sean Connery? Listen, he's got this
That's not
weird.
bad. He didn't sound like Maxwell Smart at all.
Well, thank you very much. Listen, he has this look like the devil. His beard, mustache, and the
I
way
didn't
his
get
hair.
that.
You don't see it? He
Now
looks
that you
like
mention it, I can see it. Yes, but I
okay,
didn't
yeah.
think that. First
He
thing I
looks
thought
like
was this guy looks just like Sean Connery.
he looks like Lucifer. He looks like Beelzebub. So he's got this weird look to him, but all the girls go crazy over him. So
Because he's
he's the main.
cute.
He's the. If you say so. He's the main character,
Tall and lean and muscular and
and
got a
Lucifer and
handsome
weird.
face.
Yeah. Anyways, he's the main character along with his wife, Herta.
And you don't even see Herta until
Well, she's right from the bat. She's part of the film.
But I didn't know that was his wife. For some reason, I didn't realize it was his wife right
Well,
away.
at first you think it's his mistress,
Mm.
but because of the way they do it, yeah, we'll talk about. But Herta is a German. Um, she's a wife. She's German. She's got blonde hair. She's
Blue eyes, yes.
blue eyes. Yeah, Anyways,
And they
they're a
play
couple.
teachers at a Catholic girls' school.
Yes, she's the what do you call the woman that's in charge?
The headmistress.
Headmistress. Yes. The one that slaps the rulers on the girls' hands and when they giggle over the teachers.
I have a nail polish that's called Headmistress. It's a blood red. It's gorgeous.
Oh no. Hey Roger S. Max, what's going on? He looks a little like the Howling Man. Oh yeah, you know
looks
what?
like Sean Connery.
CM, yes. There you go. In the Howling, yepers. He's got that Luciferian kind of look. But we've got those two, okay, and they're having a struggle, in their marriage because the other character is Elizabeth Seckles, who's a student at the school, and she's
and she is not a minor because it's an older girls' school. I don't think that she's a minor, or is
right.
she?
I thought that they were all minors, is what I thought when they were talking about this film.
Well, then that makes everything a little more creepy.
Well, no, exactly.
Because it said St. Mary's Catholic College for Girls or something like that. So I assumed it was.
Okay, let's just go with their college bound and they're college girls. So he's having an affair with this Elizabeth Seckles.
And the wife knows about it, I guess.
Well, she knows he's listen, his character, he's a creep. He's one of those guys who are after all the girls that he teaches, and one by one
all
he'll have
with that impression.
Well, the main professor of the college, who is what's his name? I'm trying to think of
That's
his name.
another thing with these Giallos. There's so many characters.
I know.
Like, why do we need
well,
all
that's
these
why you got to
people
write
and
them
we have
down.
to know their names.
Professor Bascom. He knows that Enrico has this kind of image with all the other teachers and the priests and everything that's going on, because he comes up to him and says, listen, I know what's going on, but let's keep it on the down low. Listen. So, I'm like, what what are you talking about? This is the professor here, the main guy there. And he's going, listen, but so that he's just a creep and he's having an affair with, and even the wife, Herta, talks about it too later on. Like, she knows, she says, I know, I've been through this, I know what's going on, listen. But anyways, Enrico, Herta, there's Inspector Barth is the main detective
from Scotland Yard.
Yes, and then we get all of the girls, okay, and their names are Hilda, Janet, Helen, Brenda. Yeah, and we'll talk about them when we get to it, but go ahead.
It's so vitally important that we know all of their names.
Well, because there's kills,
and then there's Mrs. Ruth. What's her name?
Holden. Ruth Holden. Yeah, she's
an older lady who lives in the village or whatever.
Yes, and we'll get to her about 3/4 of the way through the movie.
I know you told me not to rush it. We won't talk about it until we get there, sir.
Yeah. Oh my, just came back from tending to the flock. Hello, everyone. Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
So while this couple, it's Enrico, the teacher, and his little mistress, Elizabeth. And they're making out in this boat, and it's very romantic, and they're laying in the boat, and they're,
Yep, making out with
heavy petting, as we used to say.
Well, Elizabeth and Enrico, they're having a little affair in the boat, and
see,
he's undressing her in Italian fashion. He's unbuttoning her shirt, and yes, go ahead.
I didn't put it together that she was actually witnessing a murder over on the shore in the woods. I thought that she was having some kind of like a premonition or a vision. Did you know that she was actually seeing that? Because I don't know, the way that it was framed was like, I thought she was just having a vision.
Well, listen, the movie was very well done. I mean, listen, the Italians, they knew how to make this. And this is more of a police-driven kind of giallo film. It's a little bit different than most of them, you know,
Well, yeah,
where
the
it's usually a
police
reporter.
investigation is a big component of a giallo film, and this one,
Well, a lot of the times it's a reporter or it's an
Mhm.
actual victim that ends
Who's
up
investigating?
who's yeah. In this one,
Mhm.
it's police are everywhere in this film, so that just
All those
changes it a little.
undercover cops in the park, I was like, "Okay, we get it."
Right. Oh, and so idiotic. But listen, that twist alone makes it just a little bit different than a lot of the
Yeah.
other giallos. Again, I've talked about the early 70s that we've been hitting here lately just are a lot different than the late 70s, and of course way different than the 80s. Hello, Anonymous, what's going on? But to get to your question, did I think it was a premonition? No, I kind of knew it was she was
And later in the movie,
seeing.
she has a dream, and later in the movie, doesn't she have a dream or something? And it's like,
Well, she continues to have. And hello, Emily.
"Hi,
What's
Emily,
going on?
honey."
One of the few giallos set in England, says Mike Barrett. Yes, there you go. That's why it's on the River Thames. There you go. Listen.
And they
Oh, and
walk on
that's
the London Bridge.
yes, and that's the other thing I was going to say about this. Unlike a lot of the giallos where they let people do all their different languages. You got French, Italian, and then they
Mhm.
dub over with English voices afterwards. This film, Massimo had them all speak English.
Mhm. And some of them didn't speak English very well.
No, and that's why they ended up doing an English kind of dub, but it goes over with the lips because they were speaking English so well
Mhm.
that it was kind of unlike the other ones, you know what I mean? Because it kind of went well, and a lot of people said didn't even think it was a dubbed film. They're like, "Oh, this one isn't a dubbed film," but you know, they tried, anyways. But yes, Mike Barrett, very much so. So yes, I know that I knew she's seen what she saw, which
Okay.
was an image at first when they're making out on the boat and caressing, and she looks over and she sees this girl running through the woods with her shirt all open and
And
everything.
there's a man behind her trying to grab her.
Well, there's somebody behind her trying
That's
to
right,
grab
somebody.
her,
Mhm.
and we really don't know at that point,
Yeah.
but and he again, creepy guy he is, he doesn't care. He goes, listen, you're not paying attention to me. He doesn't look around and go, is there somebody there? Let me see. No, he gets right back to, listen, pay attention to me, don't worry about the girl getting killed over in the woods. It was so terrible. But then they continue making out, then they look again, and she sees the knife, which they're weird looking knives that they have in this movie. Unlike the
Maybe it's some
switchblade.
kind of a fish knife because there was a lot of references to a fisherman and fishing, so maybe
Yeah,
it's some kind of a fish knife. I don't know.
it could be. It could be because it was a weird looking knife that I'd never seen, and all the victims get kind of the same knife. And she gets that glimpse, and then the rest of the film, where you said she does start to have these dreams because throughout the movie, the first hour and 20 minutes, she continues to have dreams, or at least the first hour, and keeps remembering a little bit more and more and more,
Mhm.
which is another thing that happens in a lot of these giallo films too, is the recurrence of dreams or nightmares where they get flashbacks until eventually you get to the end of the film and they know who the killer is now, and meanwhile 4 or 5
And it
people have
and
just been killed.
it's hard sometimes to determine if it's the real thing or if it's a dream. That's
Right,
kind of the
that's a
thing that
big part
bugs
of
me.
yeah, well, I think for the most part you can always distinguish between the two, but they do try to confuse you. Listen,
Mhm.
early Italian cinema, they try to kind of listen, this whole man, I needed water down here. What's wrong with me?
Excuse Dino, he's got a frog in his throat.
Oh, it's tickling. Uh what they usually did in a lot of these films were they try to trick you and they try to
Mhm.
throw you off. That's what that
The
you
red
know
herrings and all that.
Exactly, and that happens at the beginning of this film too. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to say about that beginning scene, but okay, so then we get to where they find out that the girl's actually been killed. Oh, but something happens there before Enrique and Elizabeth leave the scene. He drops a pen. And when I saw that, I go, they did that
That's
for a
gonna come
reason.
back.
Yeah, they did that
And
for a
see,
reason.
he Enrico didn't see what Elizabeth is saying that she saw. He didn't see it, right? And he's
No.
upset with her because he thinks that she's just trying to, they were
Right.
on their
Yeah.
way to doing something, and he's like, you just didn't want to give it up or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, he totally and the good thing is later on we find out that she's pure. Let's just say that as the driven snow. So he didn't really end up doing anything with her, which is a good thing. Hello, Binks. You've been busy. That's okay. We are always around. Hopefully, life is treating you well and you're doing good. But good to see you, Kathy.
What Dino said.
Kathy,
Same goes double
hugs.
for me.
Yeah, yeah. Good to see you, Kathy. But yes, so the pen drops and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. But then they get to, do they get to the apartment or do they get to the apartment first, right? And that's where he's with his wife. And that's when you're going, is this his mistress or who is this? You know what I mean? And he hears on the radio, right? He hears on the radio
Yeah.
that the news bulletin that there's been a body found down by the River Thames.
It's
And
Thames.
Thames, Thames, thems,
And we
they,
find out that the girl who was
Thames,
stabbed is
Thames,
named Hilda Erickson.
Thames, Thames. Isn't it the Thames River? The Thames River. It's famous for being the Thames. Listen, yes, you're correct on that. It's Hilda. Hilda is the first one killed. Check. So she's a young girl from the school, and the police walkers by saw the body there, and this is where we're going to talk and skirt around some issues really quick because all of the victims are killed the same way that this female is killed, and it's a plot point for the movie because it means something the way they're getting killed. And let me just say that the knife ends up going where babies come out. And so we will say that, and it's very icky and
it's very graphic.
Oh, very graphic. This movie,
they even show you an x-ray.
Oh yeah, the camera like pans across the victim and you see
they want to make it very clear what happened to her.
Yes,
and we find out it's because they were all naughty girls.
Well, can we say that right now? I guess.
No, we don't have to, but that's the whole point. They were naughty girls.
Yes, and there's a reason behind it. There's definitely a whole reason behind this, but again, through this first part of this film, you're trying to figure out. Is Brian Kirkham here? Hey, Brian. Long time no see, man. What's going on? What did you say? Sorry, Ginger. What is the overnight stream tonight? What does it say, Brian? Listen, you've been here long enough to know what does the title say? It says, and I'm just joking with you, Brian. It's a mixed bag surprise to help you sleep tonight, right? So there's going to be a mix of different shows, okay? So how about you be surprised tonight and everybody else?
Can I just tell you again how much I thoroughly enjoyed that Theater 5?
Theater 5?
I really enjoyed that. Someday when I have time, I'm going to go back and listen to that whole stream because I really enjoyed that series. I had never heard of it before. Somebody else said that she had never heard of it. I think it was Kathy.
Yeah, it's one from the late 70s. And yes, it's very well produced, very well done. Such as CBS Radio Mystery Theater. There were a couple others done. Even the Avengers had that series. a radio series out, which is on the channel. You guys won't believe what's on.
Black Roses, you know I don't like ASMR. I hate
Ginger
it.
does ASMR. Well, listen, hey, when I say to help sleep, it's because that's what it does every night for you, right? Listening to these shows, you fall asleep to these shows. But the mixed bag surprise for me is, listen, I
It's
want
like
you
a box
guys.
of Cracker Jack.
Yeah, no. What I love about it, and listen, I know there's the people who thank you for the timestamps. Thank you. Listen, I've got half the shows and half the streams have timestamps that are relevant to everything. We've reached a point now where everything is on my channel. Okay. Well, not everything.
This is Daddy lecturing us. Daddy's lecturing us right now.
Listen, there's still some good stuff out there to be had, and you guys will hear them eventually. And when I do, there will be timestamps for them. But you know, I like to surprise you with what's coming up next. There was nothing better when I put on the headphones back in the day, and I was listening to late night AM radio station, and I didn't know it was going to come on next. And that's how I discovered some of these shows. You know what I mean? So you're going to be surprised by the first one tonight, and then you'll go, oh, I wonder what's coming up next. And before you know it, you enjoy it, and you go, yeah, this is cool. You know, I'm going to fall asleep, and you wake up, and you can't go back. Listen, oh my God. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to
Dino's riled up. He's riled up now. I just wanted to say again, I really like that Theater 5.
Okay, yeah. No, I like giving
go back and listen to it one day.
Yeah, I love giving some surprises at night when you guys are listening. I at least give you, listen, it's a mixed bag tonight, so it's a bit of detective. You know that there might be some horror, there's some mystery. But there's a couple shows you haven't heard in a long while. That was starting off with the very first one. It's been a long time since I
feel like if you don't put Johnny Dollar in there, people are like, "Where's Johnny Dollar?" It's like there's so much other stuff besides Johnny Dollar.
Spoil anyway. Always with you on that, Dino. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Much love. Yep. So here, let's get to this, man. Where are we? So we're at the his house, Enrico, and he hears on the radio station that there's been a killing in the body down by the Thames. Jeez. Will they ever tame that Thames?
So then we go to the inspector goes to the coroner's office, and Hilda's parents are there, and the mother.
Wait. But Enrico, listen, you jump all around. You skip scenes. Man, watch a movie with you. Jesus criminy. Yeah, let's fast forward 30 minutes. Let's get to the plot point. You just fast forwarded through a good part of the movie.
Okay, so go back to what I was missing.
Well, he's in the room.
Just do it.
He's listening to the radio, and his wife Herta.
You've said that 4 times now. Yeah, we get it.
I'm Herta. Well, don't tell me about it. Take some Excedrin. Listen, so he hears it on the radio that the body's there. He ends up rushing off because he believes it's Elizabeth now, and rushes down to the river. Yeah, I know. See, I go on too much. I know I do. But
it's not Elizabeth. It's not his girlfriend. He's worried that it's his little mistress, and it's not her.
No, he finds out she was right. Yes, he finds out she was right, and that's where everything starts to happen. The next big scene is at the college.
Well, then this is when they show the X-ray. He sends the mother away. The inspector sends the mother away and brings the father back. And they show the X-ray, and there's a knife. You see the pelvic bone of a woman's body, and there's a knife. It's like, wow.
Yeah, why would you show that to the father? Yeah, at the police station. Yeah, the inspector Barth. He says, here, come over. I'll show you this. It's like, what are you doing? That's so.
At least he sent the mother away, but that was.
He's like, this is the way she was slain.
So then we're at the funeral.
Yeah, then we're at the funeral.
We're at the funeral, and they're doing a communion in her honor, and they're going to confession. And all the girls in the girls' school are going to confession with a priest. You can't see the priest because there's a screen there. And they're just like, blah, blah, blah. They get it over with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brian.
So then we see Elizabeth leaves, and she's riding her bike. Riding a bike is a big thing in this movie. All the girls ride bikes.
Well, listen, in a lot of the European countries over there, they're on bikes. And listen.
Are they?
Yes, Ginger.
I was not previously aware.
Even at 20 and 30, they're on bicycles. I tell you what, it was kind of interesting seeing her book it on the bike because it looked like wasn't it? It was kind of a banana seat, wasn't it? Am I wrong? Maybe a
I
half
think
banana
so. It
seat.
looked like
Maybe
an old 3-speed, a girl's 3-speed or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was a college girl on like a little girl's bike, and she's going like 100 miles an hour down the street, and Enrique's following her and going,
And I kept thinking, is she going to run into like a telephone pole or something?
I
Because she was
know.
looking at him going at a very high rate of speed and looking over into the road where he was like,
I was thinking the same
oh.
thing. I was thinking the same thing. Is she going to just hit something? Can you imagine that? Boom. She gets it. Oh my God. But yeah.
So she goes to his place.
Does she go there now, or do we get
Yes,
that?
she goes there now. She meets him there. She takes her bike and she meets him there. And while she's
Even
up there, he has
even
made
before the inspector meets them at the school, or is that after?
after. This is after.
Okay. Okay.
So
So,
they,
yeah.
he has
You're
made
right.
a whole love nest for them because he's
A love
married. So
nest.
she can't meet
Yes.
him at his
Yes.
house. So he's made this whole little love nest and he shows it to
Love
her.
nest, baby, love nest, baby.
And
That's where it's at.
while she's there, and this is another thing with the Giallo movies, while she's there in their little love nest, somebody
Oh,
calls.
that's Love Shack, baby.
Yes, that's the B-52s.
Love Shack, baby, Love Shack, baby. That's where it. Oh my God, come on. I needed water. Okay, go.
Okay.
So yeah, they're up there.
Love Shack, baby. I thought you were
You
going to do
think
that.
they're up there making love, but
Well, they are.
Well, they kind of are, but I guess he.
And that's when I
really...
noticed that the professor's wearing a wedding ring. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's married.
Yes, and
when they're getting ready to do the deed, Elizabeth has a flashback. She sees the knife.
Flashback, yes, nightmare of the killing, and she
put the kibosh on that whole thing they were doing.
Well, well, they cut kind of. It was kind of a cut scene, and I wondered, okay, did they finish or what's going on?
Why would you wonder that? Just move on. That's not important here.
It was part of the movie plot, so I was curious. But anyways, so yeah, no, then they just the next day they're at the police department. I mean, not at the police, they're at the school, they're at the college. And this is where the Inspector Barth is kind of going through all of the teachers and the staff, right? No? You can point me in the right direction.
Did we get to the point where the inspector shows Enrico that he found his pen?
Yeah, that's next. But I'm trying to think. Okay, listen. I think we went over a whole section at the beginning of the movie where the Inspector Barth comes to the college and looks, he's basically interviewing all of the teachers.
Yes, we went over that.
Did you say that?
You said that. You said it.
No, and there you see all the red herrings. They do it at the beginning of a lot of Italian Giallo films, and all the red herrings are standing there, and every single one of them you look at and you go, okay, that could be the guy, that could be the guy, because you got a creep,
and they're all creepy. Yeah, they all look like creeps.
And she kind of says that eventually that it looks like the guy was a priest because during all these flashbacks and these nightmares
he's
that
wearing
she's
a long black coat,
long black, so they're figuring it's one of the priests at the college, and it might just well be. I don't know. Let's continue on. But even Herta, you go, there was a part in this film at this beginning here where I thought maybe Herta, because females are killers too in these movies,
and looks like a Frau Farbissina.
Yes.
So then we're at this country house, and a car pulls up, and the girl runs out, and
she got a call.
Yeah, she got a call.
She got a call that said you need to come, and you could tell it was a man with a beard and a
this
hat.
Scene just doesn't make any sense to me. She goes out to the car, and he grabs her.
Well, he said that he needed something for one of the other girls. It was That's what he does for every one of the killings of the
Uh-huh.
girls. He calls them up at
Uh,
their home. They come on out and he gets them. That's how
okay.
he grabs them. And that girl goes missing. And I forget the name of the second girl, if it was either Janet or Helen. I don't.
There was a
Brenda?
Janet.
Yeah.
And is this the girl that didn't die?
No.
Isn't there a
The
girl that
girl.
didn't die and says no because they think Enrico's the killer? I thought there was a girl that didn't die. I mean, she ends up dying, but she lives long enough to tell them that, I don't know.
Yeah. No.
So this car pulls up and the girl runs
Elizabeth is
out.
the girl who's you think might be the final girl, and she's
Mhm.
the one through most of the movie until something happens. But hello, Connie. What's going on? Good to see you.
Hi, Connie.
Janet, says Mike Barrett. Let's take his word on it. He knows. So it
See,
was
I'm just
Janet.
like I watched this movie. I
Yeah.
watched it. I took
Y-
notes like I always do.
Yes, ma'am.
This movie just couldn't like hold my attention the whole time. I'm sorry. Like I keep reading that this
Really?
movie is so great and everything, and it's kind of becoming a pattern that the movies that they hype up and say they're so great, they're just really not.
Well, again,
But the whole time this movie was on, I was like,
listen, for the time period that 1970s, early 70s time period, this is how movies were, Ginger. There was a feel, and the way they
they
were
were
produced.
slow.
Yes, let's just say that. So the later you get in the 70s, the quicker the pace picks up, and the more emphasis on the horror element
Mhm.
of the Giallo films,
And
whereas
the
a lot
movies are
of
just
these,
not as long.
yeah,
This one didn't need to be this long.
no, it didn't. It didn't. And again, it seemed like a whole kind of different movie at the beginning. Although you
Mhm.
had that Giallo aspect of the killer, all in black. You don't off camera. You don't know who it is. You do get glimpses of them talking in the phone booth, which with the beard, which we eventually find out a little bit later. The hair under the skin of one of the
Mhm.
girls, it's dead hair, which makes you wonder why dead here. I don't understand that. But anyways, a little weird, a little
Because it
weird.
was a fake beard?
Yes.
Because it was a fake beard, so it was made with dead hair.
Yes, because yeah, okay, yeah, I won't spoil nothing yet, but again, we will give away the killer at the end of the movie. But yes, he brings her out here, she drops the kitten, and away they go. And she's going to be the next victim, and she gets slayed the same way. And
Mhm.
I don't know at what point we get to the reasoning behind it, but
Not yet. We haven't got there yet.
yeah, okay. So
So then she
continue on.
tells Enrico, Enrico goes and picks her up.
Enrico
He
Suave.
leaves. He's with his wife, literally with his wife in bed, and Elizabeth calls. His mistress calls, and he leaves his wife, and his wife's like, "Yeah, go ahead." She knows. She
Yeah.
says something to him like,
She's like, get out
"Yeah,
of
I
here.
know. Don't worry about it."
No need to say a word,
Right. So
says
she
Herta.
knows what's going on, and he goes and picks up his girlfriend, and she
Yes,
tells him that
Enrico,
she saw
go.
a vision, and she gives him more
Ginger,
detail.
she goes, Enrico, go. No need to tell me.
And he
You've
says,
done this.
"Suave."
You've done this to me for many years now. I'm sick of it. Go, go, you distaste me. So yes, that ends up happening, and they got that love nest, and that's where they go to meet,
So then the
and they
police
meet.
find another body.
Yes, it was Janet's. Damn it.
And Elizabeth goes and tells the faculty about her vision. And then again, there's this whole room full of men, all different kinds of men. It could be any one of these men.
Well, and most of them are priests, I think, or at least 3 of them are priests there. But
One's a creepy guy who's, I don't know even what he's supposed to be doing there, but he's creepy. He's the one that
yeah,
watches the girls through the
he's a
hole when they're in the
teacher. Oh
shower room.
God, listen. Yeah, there's a whole shower thing that goes on through the movie. Listen, if you're a guy out there, I don't know what to say, but there's a whole shower thing that goes on through the movie.
100% nudity and lots of it. Like there's like 50
Yes.
girls in there and they're all naked. So
Yeah, they're having a good old time in the shower, and smoking and
Yeah, they're
in the
smoking
shower,
cigarettes and
and there's this eye that shows up in the he must have scratched off in the just enough to see inside. It's just
yeah.
and he's sweating afterwards. It's just so sickening, man. It's like how gross. I don't know.
So,
John McKee, what's going on? Nice to see you. Yeah, if you have any questions in the chat about this film, please let me know.
so then this mystery person, we don't know who this mystery person is, but the person's wearing black leather gloves and a long black coat, shows up at Enrico and Elizabeth's little love nest. And he has a key. They have a key, right?
Yeah, real quick. Yes, she's there. Well, first of all, he calls Elizabeth and says, "Hey, come on over." And there's this guy that lives next door. He's got this big. He looks like a character from one of the movies we did early on. I forget the guy at the beach. In the other movie, he was the guy. He played God. What movie was that?
Oh, the one with that gorgeous dark-haired woman that kind of looked like Linda Carter.
All Colors of the Dark?
No.
All the Colors of Dark.
No.
It doesn't matter. Listen, he looks like that guy. He's got big bushy hair and he's got red eyes and he's like,
he's crazy. Is he crazy or is that just me? Is there something wrong with him?
Oh, he seemed a little crazy. Well,
okay.
that's bad acting in an Italian film.
Oh yeah, he was like a clown. He was like Curly Fine or Curly Howard.
Yeah, no, he was
like
he was screaming a little too loud when he was interrogated. But listen, he's the neighbor, and he's bringing in roses for Enrico. He's bringing him.
Well, what happens though? That's afterwards. That's after this kill.
The kill of what's? No,
he goes
that's before to get her over there. To get Elizabeth over to the apartment.
Okay.
He calls her up and says, "I've got these for you. There's roses. Meet me over here."
Okay.
And candy and all. He's setting the whole place up.
And she doesn't know that that's not Enrico?
No, it is Enrico.
Oh, it is Enrico.
Yeah, and the neighbor keeps running these things over. Remember?
Right.
The
While
crazy
he's on the
neighbor?
phone, the neighbor keeps coming back. Yes, I remember.
And she goes, "Is anybody over there with you? I hear somebody." And he goes, "No, there's nobody. I'm trick you, Elizabeth."
Because he's setting up this whole love nest for her.
Yes, I trick you, Elizabeth. You crazy. What you do? And yeah, and the neighbor next door.
What's some out of you?
the neighbor, well, that's the neighbor. He comes over, he goes, Enrico, like he's Dracula's concubine there. He goes, "Enrico, can I do more for you, huh? Here you go.
Is it Renfield?
Yeah,
Renfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's coming in the room doing these, acting like this, and I'm like going,
and Enrico's like, "All right, yeah, okay, bye."
Yes, it's quite odd. and so eventually Elizabeth comes over there. And
where's Enrico?
He's back at school. Listen, they for the movie's sake, they needed to get him out of that apartment. So he either ran home again because Herta was hounding him. Listen, you didn't get the milk to listen, Enrico. You didn't get the milk.
You got salted butter, and I asked for unsalted.
Exactly. Too much salt is bad for hypertension. Listen, yeah, and blood thinners. Listen,
so she's there. So Elizabeth is there in the apartment in their little love nest.
And she's taking a bath and she's splashing water and bubbles
and she hears somebody come in and she thinks it's Enrico.
Yeah, she goes, "Oh, Enrico, you come for me. You make a love to me. Is what you do. Look, Enrico." And the killer's come up, behind her, and you see him and she's splashing water, still going, "Wee, wee." She says,
she's got a little rubber ducky in there playing with it.
Oh, it's
adorable.
Have the rubber duckies. I mean, it's cute. But anyways, the killer comes up, man, and it's a scene, man. It's a scene.
It's a bad scene, man.
He takes and he strangles her right in the.
He drowns her.
Yes, it looks like he's strangling her in the water. And drowning.
She's in the water. He's drowning her.
Well, the hands are around the neck, lady. So, but as you say, the coroner says a little bit later on, which I love the coroner in this guy, or the guy that does the testing for the Italian police there. He gets the evidence, and I swear within minutes he comes out with all the results. Gotta love it. The guy's hardworking.
Okay, so
But
they pick the girl up and she's
Ginger
completely
like
naked.
dismisses it. She's like going, that means nothing to me. What are you even saying? Oh, I do got a little water. Look there's like 1 ounce of water there. It may be just enough. Let's see.
It's just backwash. Enjoy.
Oh, it's so much. It's watery now in my throat. Oh, I like it.
Good.
Oh, I could talk for another hour now. Okay.
Oh boy.
So listen, but that kill scene was unlike all the others because he just drowns her.
Yes, he doesn't
And
put
it's
the knife
Elizabeth.
in a terrible place.
And it's a shame because you thought Elizabeth, if your writer quits in the solutions to add more, your movie is in trouble. So the drowning is unlike the other ones. Don't ask me why, but Elizabeth is, well, there could be a reason, right? She's pure. So he just drowns her. I think he drowns her. Okay, Ginger, this is my concept. Here we go. He drowns her because she wasn't promiscuous like the others. He killed her because she came up to the faculty and told the people that it's so put attention on the staff.
She described him. Yeah, she described him.
She was one to just get rid of.
Yeah. She wasn't one being punished for the crime that was committed.
That the other girls were. So that's why I think, and she wasn't involved, let's just say, with what happened.
She was involved. Well, she was actually, she was there, but she was trying to convince the girl not to.
Yes.
So they question Enrico because obviously it looks like Enrico's doing this, right? I mean, they know that that's his mistress.
Yes.
And this is when they say they found hairs under Elizabeth's nails.
Yeah, and said they were dead. But that's why they needed to bring it out in the open. So this is when Herta kind of really gets a Herta.
And they take a hair sample from Enrico.
Yes, they cut it off, and he's at the police station, and
he's like, "Don't touch my hair."
Barth is investigating everybody now, the entire staff, and again, like I said, Herta, she was Herta. Really bad this time, and I mean, when it's just behind your back, and she knows it's going.
Herta needs a Serta. She needs a Serta.
She needs a
Perfect Sleeper by Serta.
Is that what she needs to lay on?
Yes.
Because she's having.
So the police go back to the love nest.
Oh, they do.
The police go back to the love nest, and the man who saw the killer run down the steps, the crazy guy.
Yeah. Yes.
He goes to a lineup, and they have all these people dressed like a priest with long coats on.
Because they want to know what kind of priest was he dressed like. Was it a Judea priest? Was it a Catholic priest? Was it but he freaks out and he goes, "Oh, what do you mean? Are you crazy? You crazy? They all look like a priest to me. What'd you do? You drive me nuts." And
he goes running down the alley like Curly Monroe or Curly Howard.
Yeah. And I'm allowed to give my Italian accent because I am Italian and I also am reviewing an Italian movie, and that's how he was acting. So it has nothing to do with making fun of people think that sometimes you can do voices. Okay, but anyway,
we're clear on that. So then Enrico leaves the police station, and his wife picks him up. Yes. And she makes it clear that she doesn't believe that her husband is doing these killings. She makes it clear to him that she believes that he's innocent, and he wants to help him find out who the killer is.
They kind of reconnect, so to speak.
Yes.
Right? Yes. In many ways later that evening.
Because he's like, you know what? You'll do.
He's like, let's go back to the way things were, Herta. I love you. I want to caress you. He says this to her. And she goes, Enrico.
Herta is the headmistress at the school.
She says, I've waited for those words for all my life, even before we were married. You didn't do these things to me. You make me yearn for you, Enrico. And Enrico says,
Now you're sounding like you're
"There."
from like Transylvania or
Okay,
something.
whatever. I'll stop. Listen, when I go on, and again, I need to be serious. So let's. Sorry, people. Let's be serious about
Uh-oh,
this.
sorry. Hold
Oh,
on a
you're getting a
second.
phone call.
I
Wow.
am. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you need to make a phone call, huh? Or yeah. Oh, she's muted. So listen. The inspector. Sorry about trying to make the show fun. I did not mean that. I think it lends to having a little bit of entertainment value. But let's get to the points of this movie. So the inspector does go to Enrico's apartment, and he does take that pen. I can't hear you, Ginger. You did mute yourself. So, oh, she's still talking on the phone. I heard her say, "Bye." I read lips. This is what I did.
I'm
I
sorry,
read
my
lips.
daughter, I told you the Phillies won, and my daughter's trying to get home, and she's at City Hall, and she said the train just passed right by, and it's crowded, and they're like, no, we're not stopping here because it's already. So she's gonna wait for the next train. So
Oh, is she okay?
she's fine.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to go get her. She's a grown
I'm
adult,
not
right?
going down there. She'll be fine.
It's crazy down there.
Down there.
It's nuts. It's nuts. So yes, I like the part where the professor brings the pen to try to trick Enrico, and he throws it on the desk, and he asks, "Oh, I don't got a pen to write with." And Enrico, I like when he picks up the pen, and Enrico stares at it like this, like he's so shocked. It's like, man, you can't if you can't, you're giving yourself away there if you really were the killer. You know what I mean? The way you
Okay,
looked at the pen. But go ahead.
so
Yes.
the inspector talks to the girls, and they tell him that during the funeral for the first girl, they went to confession, and they confessed to a priest that they had never seen before.
Yes. Yes.
And this is when they say something about Hilda and Janet belong to a special little group. This is when we find out they had some kind of a special little group. And these are
Yes.
two girls that have been killed.
Right. And we come to find out that it's kind of like they're this girl group, a sex club or something. They do promiscuous stuff together, all these girls, even together in bed, that somebody says later in the film, so yeah, they got some kind of like sex club going or something like
And
that.
then this is another thing that makes no sense to me. Herta tells Enrico that she knows a boy who lives on a houseboat on the Thames. So Enrico goes to this houseboat.
Well, because he's trying to find out where. Well, that's when they find out about. Boy, we're getting right to the end of the movie here, because he doesn't go to that houseboat. He goes there looking for Solange, right?
I guess.
So either way,
and I have to say, the photographer, he's got this houseboat.
Yeah, Lenny
on
Kravitz.
the Thames, which I didn't even know that was something that you could do.
Oh, that was cool.
And it's a black guy, and I've never seen a black guy in a Giallo movie before.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's been.
I've never seen one. But anyway, he's the photographer, and he's got his houseboat set up as like this photography studio, and he's got a completely butt-naked girl answers the door.
Yeah. And she's all
and Enrico's just unimpressed.
Powder.
He's like, I've seen better.
Well, yeah. Enrico's like, yeah, whatever, and she covers up a little bit, but then continues to shoot. Yeah, and I guess this gentleman on the lifeboat is kind of a younger college student too, and he's part of this group with the girls that are promiscuous and do things, and
and he knows some information.
Well, he mentions there's this other girl, Solange, that he hasn't seen her in forever,
Yes.
And
it's like, finally, we're going to find out who this Solange person is.
Right. Yeah. There's like an hour and 20 minutes, and Milk Girl. Yeah, Mike Barrett. Yeah. It's Milk Girl.
Yeah, she's doing milk.
Like this dude's doing commercial photography for something. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but
on some nasty, gnarly old rickety houseboat.
J.O.B. says, I like these movie reviews because I'm not familiar with so many of them. I have to put them on the list of films to see. Well, good. I'm glad somebody's enjoying them, and you guys are, at least enjoying us talk about the film.
My
I
daughter's
know I
sending
don't.
me my daughter's sending me videos. She's still downtown and she's sending me all these videos of how crazy it is in the
Oh, I
street down there
bet.
right now.
Phillies, yeah, I bet. Hey, Night Fright Talk Show number 42. Oh, let's get some thumbs up, people. Come on. If you're here, thumbs it up, and check out all the links. Join the channel, join the Patreon, and skipped record. But yeah,
Then
he's
we
on the
see
houseboat.
the inspector goes, he roughs the guy up. Enrico roughs the guy up.
Oh, he
That-
beats, yeah. Well, yeah. And then the girl looks and they're like, act like nothing's wrong, and he leaves.
Yeah.
But now Enrico is on a mission to find Solange, this
Mhm.
girl that, or at least find out what's going on, because now they kind of know that there's a group of girls that's
Mhm.
going missing, and they were
Mhm.
all involved with some kind of
A
group
clique.
or clique or
Mhm.
club of girls that do have sex with a bunch of people and just are promiscuous, you
So
know?
then the inspector
And
goes to the church and asks about this priest with a beard, and the girls are like, maybe he's not even really a priest. That finally
yeah,
they mention that maybe he's actually not a priest.
right, because they said we haven't seen any priest with any beards or anything. So,
So then we go to the
you know,
graveyard with the two coffins of the girls, and someone slips one of the girls a note, and she reads it, and then she passes it to somebody else. And you're like, what?
yeah,
What's the note?
yeah. Well, and that's where you're figuring out that you're seeing where the clicks lie, you know,
Mhm.
with Helen, Janet, Brenda, Hilda, all these girls that are getting killed one by one by one by one, and you're wondering why. But there's a reason with all of the clicks, because we're going to get to kind
Well,
of
then that note,
earlier. Okay, go ahead.
that note, the second girl who gets that note at the funeral, they're at the graveyard.
Well, they slip it
She
to Enrico too.
she takes the note over to Enrico's and slips it in his mailbox in with his mail.
Yes, and it drops and there's a whole thing, but then the guy, the doorman, gives it to him and he reads it and it says, doesn't it say Ruth Gordon or Ruth Holden knows
Everything.
everything? Yeah.
And she
And
lives in Garisdorf.
yes, so
And in the house that
that's
we saw that house before when the
we
second
saw
girl,
earlier.
Brenda.
Yes, we saw that earlier in the film, where she's an older lady, Ruth Holden, and
She
he's
found
going.
Brenda's body.
He what?
She, the maid, the older woman, didn't she find the body that was, I think this was
Well,
Brenda's body.
she was out watching because the body was laid out and killed close to her home. So
Mhm.
she saw,
That's when
you know
we
what I
first
mean?
saw her. And so now he goes
Yeah.
back to her house.
But yeah, and he goes back to her house and he finds out that she's dead. Ruth Holden is dead.
And we see a dog, a Doberman, I think it was, with an axe in its head,
Yep.
which was
So
so unnecessary. Well, I guess the dog would have been protecting her and the killer had to get to her, so he had to kill the dog.
yeah, they didn't show that. So
No.
if he had to protect himself, he would have had to have done that. But yeah, that was there. But he ends up seeing blood on a shovel, and he goes in there and he sees Ruth Holden. Then the cops come. They see that she's dead and everything else, and they have no idea what's going on. And yeah, so what's Ruth Holden's part in all of this? You know, because
Well, and then we go back to the school and the girls are taking a
yes,
shower again. And this is a completely gratuitous nudity. There's no reason for this scene at all. The girl's
no,
taking a shower again and the guy is looking in the hole watching them.
yeah.
And this is when he comes out and he runs into somebody else. And it's like, what are you
He
doing?
runs into Inspector Barth, and
And
he's
he's like,
"What are
why
you
are you
doing?"
coming from where the girls are showering?
Yeah, he's sweating it. Oh, it's so yeah.
He's not an attractive person and he's a creep.
But yeah, he's and the inspector gets this idea to keep an eye on the remaining girls too, and they're walking around the park watching
And
the
he
girls.
tells all the cops, plain clothes and unmarked cars. Like, I don't want anybody to know that you're police officers. And there's like 50 of them out there, and they're all like,
and you could tell that they're all pleased. And even the one
Yeah,
guy
they're
goes,
wearing trench coats and reading newspapers. It's like, yeah, you're a
well,
cop.
and the one undercovers in a priest outfit, and he salutes the sergeant, and the guy goes, "Don't salute me." It's so funny. It's so funny.
And
But
then
they
Enrico discovers that there was this sex club, and the fake priest was Solange's father, who teaches at the college.
yes, he does find that out, and so he tells the inspector that, and they go to the professor's house to see what's up
Okay, wait.
and ask about Solange, right?
First, the girls are at a park. The girls are at like an amusement park or something. There's a
Yeah.
merry-go-round, and we see a girl on the merry-go-round.
Oh, in
And
order though, in order, Enrico does see Solange at a park and
he's
runs
with his
off.
wife at the park. That's correct.
Yes. And then Solange ends up at the amusement park with the other remaining girls that are still alive.
And one of the girls recognizes her and goes over to her.
Yeah, and tries to talk to her, but she's a little nuts in her head for some reason.
She never
She's
says a word.
Never says a word in the entire movie. And it's funny when the director seen her, he was on an airplane and got to talking to Camille, and he mentioned, "I'm an Italian director," and she goes, "Oh, really?" And ended up, going to another Giallo film and auditioning, and ended up in this movie, and then went on to do other movies, and then I Spit on Your Grave, and so anyways, that's where it started kind of for Camille Keaton and her career.
And then they see the car drive away, and they said it was a priest. There was a priest in the car, and they see the car drive away.
Yes.
And then it cuts to the scene of another set of parents at the police station. And whose parents are these?
Oh, I don't know.
Solange's.
One of the girls.
This is Solange's parents.
Solange's parents. So the professor is there,
and his wife,
and the wife, and
they show a photo of Solange, and you're like, yeah, that's the girl that was in the park.
Yeah, and that's when the professor kind of is. This is where you get into this weird thing where, the professor's really sad about of course, because it's his daughter. And he said that she had gone missing a while back, and
he hasn't seen her.
But he never really brung this up to the cops or anybody else. They didn't say that in the film.
Enrico and the inspector go to Solange's room.
Yes.
And they find a pin. And what is that? They find a little straight pin.
It's a pin that all the girls seem to have had that were dying. So she was part of this club that involved these promiscuous girls. And yeah, so
then we find out that Brenda is still alive.
Brenda is still alive.
She's tied up and a man is talking. Brenda tells the story of the girls that rode over to that house.
Well, hold on. Yeah, you're jumping really quick towards the end, right? That's the end of the film. Well, there's a yeah, you just jumped right to the end of the film there, Ginger. There's other stuff that happened.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, what did I miss? Did we not get to Ruth Gordon yet? I mean,
no, we haven't got there yet. This is just Brenda's telling the story of how all these girls went to this house.
So is she telling the story of Ruth Holden now? I'm just trying to keep up with your notes. Like, I've got the storyline in my head, but okay. So she starts to tell. Brenda's tied up in the chair, and the killer, who you don't see. Oh my God, my nose is itching.
And see, I said that earlier. I said that one of the girls didn't die, and you were like, oh, blah, 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 blah. So this is the girl that didn't die yet, because she has a chance to tell the whole story.
She didn't die yet, but she dies.
She dies, but I said she didn't die until she had a chance to tell everything, because this is like the last 10 minutes of the movie when you find out everything that actually went on.
Yeah, let's get to.
Stretch it out.
Well, I mean, it's 9:10. We're fine. We can start.
I know we are. So that's why I can't figure out why you're freaking out about it.
Well, because I'm trying to figure out if your notes coincide with the telling of, because once we
Do not
talk about,
disparage my notes, sir. I take
oh, I
copious,
don't. You take very
accurate
good.
notes.
Yes, you do. You take very good notes, and I love it, and it helps. Yes, but I'm trying to keep storyline flowing because Ruth Holden, the whole movie revolves around this incident, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and the killer is getting the information out of her. Oh God, it's
Out of
hard to
who?
say.
Getting information
Out
out
of
of who?
Brenda, the girl
Out of
that's
Brenda.
tied up. The girl that's tied up. And it's hard to kind of talk about this without giving away the killer because it kind of all
No,
involves
it's
that.
not. Not really.
Okay.
We don't.
Okay.
So the girls are all riding over to Brenda's house, and we don't know
Okay,
what they're
so
going over there for.
they're all riding over Brenda's house,
They're all riding over to Brenda's house. This is what happened before. This is how the whole thing started.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
And they're flashing back, and all the girls are on bikes. They're all
Yes.
riding bikes.
Yes, they're all riding bikes.
And it's all the girls. So that's how you know this is a flashback, because it's the girls who got killed. Elizabeth's there.
Solange is there.
Yeah, Solange is there. And you're like, oh, this is, I guess we're going to find out what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so some of the girls are urging Solange to come into the house. They're like, no,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on at this point, but they're all urging her and pulling her.
Not all of them. Elizabeth and another girl were telling her, don't
right.
go.
There were two girls that stayed back and said, don't go in there. But the other girls who ended up getting killed,
they did go in.
Were pushing her and urging her, and Solange didn't know what to do, but they did go in there. And once in there, they
go into the kitchen.
They're in Ruth Holden's home, and they go in the kitchen and they push Solange down on the table. And I'm going, again, very delicate, and I'm going to watch what I say.
And she knows what's going to happen, and she's crying, but she doesn't seem to be, I think that in a way she's kind of resigned to what's going to happen, because she knows that, like, she really doesn't have a choice. She's crying and stuff, but not to the point of like hysteria. It's just like,
well, I think she has a choice. That's why Elizabeth and them were telling her no. But I think she was, again,
she felt like she didn't have a choice. She was not screaming like hysterically, but she was crying. She was upset.
Yeah, and I don't think she knew exactly what was involved, because see, they were all a part of this group, and when they're having sex and all this other stuff, one of the girls are eventually going to get pregnant, and evidently that's what happened with Solange. And there's no way that she could tell her family or father, whatever, that she's pregnant. What do I do? But
so conveniently, they had this Mrs.
Ruth Holden,
Mrs. Holden in the village.
And let me just say that the scene is very, very disturbing, because she performs
a procedure
so that she's not pregnant no more. And
with a long needle.
Yes. And it's brutal. Yeah. So let's move on from there. So we find out that that's probably why Ruth Holden has gotten killed, and all of these girls that are connected to Solange. But it was so tragic what happened to her that it's psychologically
she became mute,
and she's stuck in this kind of state where she's just lost her mind.
This is another, I mentioned this word before, and you told me that you had never heard it before, but krimi,
yes,
Krimi, that's a German genre of film.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
that's what this made me think of.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, yes. And I think I've read somewhere about that being in this style of film too. So
I would like to explore that at some point when we're done with your little
Well,
Giallo
that could go on all year long, but we can change it up. Yeah, we could change that. But so somebody is out getting everybody that did something to Solange, that did this to her. And basically what? Let's just say what we're going to come down to it coming to, like, everybody rushes to the professor's house, the professor who is Solange's father, right?
And Solange shows up.
Yes.
And you
Well,
can
and
see
this
that
is
she's not right.
exactly. And while the professor and Rico and all of them are there at the professor's house, I mean, and she comes
Solange
up by her,
takes Enrico's wife.
yes, and she takes her down through and shows the black rain or
And the
coat
fake beard.
and fake beard and everything, and the body of Brenda laying on the ground, where she was the last victim. And yeah,
But
that's
naturally,
kind
she
of,
runs back up and tells everybody, like, you got to come down here and see this. Like, this is what happened. And
and
this whole time,
and
Solange has never said a word.
no, but the very end, when everything's been, figured out, the killer is, it was the professor taking revenge for what these girls did to Solange.
And
And
he's agonizing over this. Like, he's not
oh,
like
he is.
gleefully killing these people. He's heartbroken at what happened to his daughter, you know?
Yeah, no, just taking revenge. I mean, for what
But he's
they
not like,
did.
happy about doing this. He's just like, I have to do this. And it
Well,
kills him, but he's going to do it.
as much as it triggered and damaged her, he's somewhat psychologically damaged too, and
Sure.
taking, like any father would be, right? But he took it to the next step and did it in a horrific way, making it for a somewhat, on what scale, a Giallo film with, somewhere in between the middle there. I don't know. We'll talk about it at the end here, but yeah, there's this thing when everything's settled where Solange comes right up to Enrico and Herta, and she starts, like, she's making this like smirky looking maniacal kind of face, and I'm like, what is that all about? I know she's excited because it's finally over, or they finally
And then
figured it.
she's proven that it wasn't her husband.
You mean Solange or Herta?
No.
No,
Oh,
no, Solange
Solange?
was. Yeah, she was
Well,
sitting
maybe
there.
because she finally everybody knows what happened. Like, I want everybody to know what happened. And perhaps she knew it was her father who was killing all these girls. And she's like, finally, this is over with.
Yes, and let's say, Mike Barrett says, yes, 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 it's based on an Edgar Wallace story.
Although that's what they say, but apparently it's nothing like the
The
story.
story, the actual story, yes, yes. And just like Edgar Allan Poe and others, a lot of people have adapted or have said to adapted movies off of the Edgar, especially in Europe over there, the Edgar Wallace stories, and not all of them really are, but
Right.
uh,
So who
I guess
said that? I mean, why is that being said? Who said
well,
that?
Mike Barrett said that. I know it was something
No,
that
but I
came
mean,
up.
I've read that too. So why would
Yeah.
people say that?
Just like they would say that this movie is based on an Edgar Allan Poe movie. And then you find out, you go, wait, what part of this movie? It was one scene for a split second in like The Raven or something like that. And they took that and they put it into it happens all the time, just so they can use the name. Heck, what movie was it? There was a movie not long ago I did where they just blatantly used the name adapted from, and it had nothing to do with that name. They just used it for publicity reasons. But anyways, so that's how this film kind of ends here. And
No,
it's
there's one more big thing that happens at the end, because Enrico goes up and sees Solange's father at his desk.
oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And
Yeah.
Solange's father, it turns out he's the man who pretended to be a priest, and he went to the
Right.
church and he got all the
Right.
information that he needed from these girls in confession by pretending to be a priest, so that he knew who to put on his list.
Yes,
And
it's Raven, right? Black Roses. Thank you. So yes, Enrico's there. The professor opens the drawer. He's got a suicide note. Evidently, we didn't know that till the end. But he brings out the gun and he points it at Enrico. But you hear a gunshot downstairs, and then they come up, and here he took his own life. And that was the end of the movie.
Yes.
So there you go.
Roll credits. That was it.
Yeah. And
I counted 5 kills, including the suicide at the end. I counted 5.
4 girls and the professor and Marianne. No, just the professor. Okay. The others still are trying. They're growing fruit on the island. I don't know what to say. But this was, again, I think going onward, we have a couple movies that, I've already posted them, and I hope they're good. I mean, listen, this movie wasn't bad.
I suggested one, I think, a few days ago, and you said we would do it. What was it?
Oh yeah, we're going to do that one.
What did I say? Was it Madhouse?
Next week. Oh, Madhouse is one. Yeah. But we're also going to do The Eyes of Laura Mars.
Oh, I wanted to do The Eyes of Laura Mars. That's it. Yeah. I love that movie so much.
1978.
That movie has my favorite Barbra Streisand song in it. It's called Prisoner. That's my favorite Streisand song. And Guilty with Barry Gibb, but mostly Prisoner.
There you go. But yeah, the next one we're going to do on Wednesday is The House with Laughing Windows, and that's from 1976. So that's mid-late 70s.
Hopefully, yeah, because those early 70s Giallos, they're getting rough.
Yeah. Hopefully this has a little bit more emphasis on the horror aspect of the films. And but tomorrow night too, we got Gary Wayne coming back, Conspiracies. It's going to be some deep stuff. He's always a great guest. And we also got The Case of the Bloody Iris, and that's a 1972 film. So
a lot of people, did you see a lot of people commented on our little Halloween party last night that they were sorry that they missed it? So you should do something like that again. And did you see the comments? A lot of people were saying they were sorry they missed it.
Yeah, no, listen, I made the at the first we were having some issues with the audio.
Nothing major.
Yeah, and I just wasn't sure how that was going to go, and I turned it private for like an hour, and then the last hour I made it public, and we had fun, and we just kept going. So it was a blast. Everybody had fun. So yes, I definitely will do more. House with Laughing Windows is, I don't know what that means, Mike Barrett. I'll be the judge of that myself. So as this is in his top 5 of Mike Barrett's top 5, I'm going to say out of a 10, I will give this, and I'm going to be a little generous and give this a 6.5 out of 10. A 6 out of 10, Ginger gives. Okay, 6 out of. See, I was being just slightly generous with that 6.5.
And again, this is another one that surprised me, because this is another one that, like I said, everybody was like, "This is one of the great blah blah blah," and I'm like, I just, this is my opinion, but like I just don't see it.
Well, the problems with it was too long. So a little drawn out.
Talking, too much.
Yeah, they could have condensed it just a bit. The whole revolving, I would have liked it to have been, oh God, I don't even know how to explain this. Again, I would like to have had more of a horror aspect to it, but this was more of a thriller. Police crime kind of thing with Giallo.
It was Giallo, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah. But the first 3/4 of the movie, you basically had people dying revolving around a police investigation is what it was, and it just wasn't what listen. I'm going through so many Giallo films. I'm researching so much on Italian cinema.
This one kind of let me down. I was a little disappointed with this one. It's good, but I was expecting like greatness.
Listen,
but to me, greatness is De Palma. Greatness is Blowout. Greatness is Dressed to Kill.
Anyways, what's Dino playing for the Old Time Radio Show tonight?
It's a surprise. Mixed bag.
It's going to be a surprise all night long. You can listen in And from the first episode on, be surprised at what's coming up next. How about that? I think
Surprised and pleased.
I think there's an element of enjoyment for some, with a mixed bag and a surprise. You will get some detectives, some horror, some mystery, you get a little bit of everything tonight. So there you go. Uncle Jerry, I love Sting and the Police. Do you really, Uncle Jerry? Yeah, good for you, bud. I love that you. Yeah. Congrats on that. Hey, everybody, give Uncle Jerry a round of applause for loving Sting and the Police. Yeah, congratulations, bud. Woohoo! So glad Uncle Jerry jumped in here on the chat tonight. Hope to see you again. Really, really good to see you. And yes, thanks everybody for joining us for another movie discussion.
And if we missed anything, I've said this before, if we missed something that you wanted to go over, Dino and I are extremely responsive to all comments. We always answer comments, and we do it quickly too. So if you have anything you'd like to say or questions that you'd like to ask that maybe you think we didn't go over, feel free to leave comments. Just sprinkle it with comments.
Yes. Sprinkle it all over with love and comments and whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Thank Rich Cat Overnight Stream. Thank you for the link there. Appreciate you putting that in.
So Wednesday we're doing House with Laughing Windows. Is there anything Monday and Tuesday?
Yes, tomorrow night, Monday, we will have Gary Wayne on. Gary Wayne for Paranormal to the Night. Again, trying to expand it because so many people reached out and adding a Monday. But yes, Gary Wayne will be talking about conspiracy theories, dealing with falling angels, and also with mythical creatures like the fairy folk, the fae, the fae, so to speak, the gnomes, all of that kind of stuff. Even vampires, we will get into that too. So there's a lot to talk about with Gary Wayne. Listen, you will listen to that guy talk, and you will be like, I need about a week to digest everything I just heard. This is going to be about I think the 5th time that I've talked to Gary Wayne and done an interview with him.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and
from where does Gary hail?
Where does he hail? From the United States somewhere, but yeah, so I'm not sure what you asked that for.
I'm just asking. I mean, because you have guests from all over the world. You have Canada, you have Great Britain, and I'm just curious.
Yeah, he's a native man here, in the area.
Okay.
But then Spooky Ghost Stories, just to get ready for Halloween on Tuesday. Oh boy, see, again, I'm packing every day this week. We shall see. Hopefully I'll get the Spooky Ghost Stories in. But listen,
what is that? Is that like is that going to be a Patreon thing, or what is that?
No, that's here on the channel. Okay. Yeah, have some fun. But and I'll be on Rich Cat Ranch's.
You got to come up with better material than that stuff you were given last night, because that stuff was subpar. I don't think you were prepared, young man. Find us some decent spooky stories.
No, I know. Listen, I'll be prepared. When I tell spooky stories, I'll be prepared. But the New Orleans Vampire Show will be excellent. Oh yeah, no, I've got several I haven't even posted yet. I've got to work on it. I've got an author who did a book on, let me find her, Marita Crandall, New Orleans Vampires, history and legend of the vampire lore in New Orleans. So that is going to be a very interesting show, because I want to touch with her on the Vampire Chronicles, the Anne Rice stories, because that totally 100% deals in New Orleans. That's where she was, the culture of New Orleans. So I can't wait for that. So yeah, a lot of good stuff in the mix. I've got a guest on Bigfoot coming up, And Sherry Brett is coming back to talk about her extraterrestrial communications that she's
Sherry
had.
is the lady from England.
Yes, the witchcraft lady.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting interesting month, to say the least.
We're getting ready to shut this down, but I'm just curious about this Uncle Jerry person.
How she laid down, but TV.
What is that?
Let me see. Yeah, Uncle Jerry thinks he's kind of funny. Let me see. Yeah, no worries. I will be on Rich Cat Ranch's channel next this Friday, coming up at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Uncle Jerry, what does that mean? How she laid down in bed, but TV is right behind her. What the hell does that mean? You can just tell me right off the bat if you're a troll or not. I mean, let me know. Give us something else.
Survey says.
I'm going to give it one more second. I'd like to see what else Uncle Jerry has to say. Yeah, no. So it's going to be fun stream tonight. So everybody, yeah, no, I'm not going to give you more time. Anyways. Okay, people. That's the end of the show. Thank you guys all for supporting and being part of it. Woo, my bad. Woo, my bad. I don't even know what you're talking about. My brain's going. Nothing's making sense, Uncle. That's all I gotta say. But
So nothing's making sense, Uncle.
yeah, you know what I'm saying there. Yeah. Thank you, everybody in the chat.
Bye,
tonight.
everybody. We'll see you in the overnight.
Yeah. So peace.